Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. We're very excited to have the next lecture in our series. My name is Pierce Paul Kriesman. It's my pleasure to serve as the director of the American Center of Research. And we're very excited to have all of you here with us now, whether it's online or here in person or watching this recording sometime later. So we're have a great lecture in store for us. If you're in the audience with us here today and you'd prefer to hear it in English or Arabic, we have both options available. We have translation devices, so those can be made available to you. If anybody would like one, please don't be shy, let us know. Online, I understand we can toggle between English and Arabic, yes? Yeah. Yes, so if you have a problem with that, send us a message and we will try and get you set up with that so you can choose the language of your preference. I will leave it from here in the hands of our good friend and colleague, Ahmed Kizzo. Dr. Ahmed Kizzo is our MC for the evening, and he's going to take it away. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. As you see here now, we have lecture about dinosaurs. Slightly. Usually, they ask us when they know that we are archaeologists, and they ask us, "Do you do dinosaurs?" We say no. But this time we will do. We did host the dinosaurs people. However, I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Ikhlas and Dr. Abdullah from Jordan University, geologists. Both of them have PhD from Germany and specialized in areas very far in the history about fire in Paleozoic. With Dr. Abdullah, which is at that time the Earth, it has more oxygen, as I understood, and Dr. Ikhlas specialized in more in plants and sediment of plants. I will leave them the floor to speak about not only dinosaurs, but the plants and seismic problems also, or seismic plates, which the area, the Syria and Turkey was suffering by the seismic earthquake. So they will speak also a little about this issue, which is already fresh topic. So anybody needs headphone, as Percival said, can raise his hand and they will be supplied by headphone for translation. And I will leave the floor to Dr. Ikhlas. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be part of this. I am an associate professor from the University of Jordan. My name is Dr. Ikhlas from the Geology department. And within this time frame, we will talk about the stones and rocks in Jordan, like before the Precambrian epoch till now. At the beginning, I would like to. Would you allow me to talk? Please allow me to talk about the first epoch that were like the oldest type of rocks in Jordan that belongs to Precambrian epoch in Jordan. It was considered as some of the oldest it's kind of stones that transforms, and sometimes it does exist in the southern part of Jordan. Those stones have been divided to two complexes. The Arabia complex and Aqaba complex. Those two complexes have unconformity. What they call unconformity in Araba, and within this area, Jordan was within what we call the Arab Shield, and it was active tectonically, and it was part of Najd, and at that area it has experienced so many lifting and pre-plantation, and that table summarize the formations and the complexes that exist within the Precambrian stones in the southern part of Jordan. As we have said, we have started from the oldest Aqaba complex, and it's divided by unconformity. the age for those like those rocks of stones like were X-rayed, and the Aqaba complex consists of the granite. That's one of the oldest formations, and it has some beautiful rocks that exist in the southern part of Jordan, especially in Ghor al-Safi or Araba Valley, and the Sarmoj conglomerate. As we can see here, those stones are rounded stones, well-rounded stones that is connected like with a base of sand. And we can see now with the picture that we have now, it does represent the Precambrian. Can she be close to the microphone? And it's considered as one of the oldest rocks exist in Jordan. We can see some wax or that separate those old, and it might be granite or basalts, some newer basalts. The map in front of us sees the geological map showing the different rocks area in Jordan within those epochs. With those epochs, I cannot hear her. She's away from the microphone. She has to be close to the microphone. So what we have in orange represent the Paleozoic, and the most frequent in green is the Mesozoic. The Mesozoic. And wherever we go, we can see the Mesozoic rocks. And the Cenozoic, or the new era, they call it a new era, and it exists in Jordan. We have the aqueduct value as well. That is famous in Jordan in this era, and we have the basalt. That is a new type of rocks that exist in the north of Jordan. So this is a summary about the distribution of rocks in Jordan. If we talk about rocks, he has to use a microphone. And so it has the Precambrian rocks and some of the old rocks that you can see in the base. We have the base, or what we call the base rocks, and it's covered by some dikes. That goes to the, I cannot hear him. So this plate or this form, yeah. Okay. So after the tectonic activity of Najd, that has been considered as some of the strong activities. So it has some expansion that has lifted the area, and the area was exposed to some erosions that has made it flat. And after the Cambrian rocks, there has been some accumulation of all the epoch, and we're talking about kind of sand rocks that has different colors and different characteristics with different layers. So this exists in Wadi Ram clearly, and we can see Salab and Ushrin and Aldisha. They do belong to the old era, to the Cambrian, but the Aldisha belongs to the Ordovician. The Ordovician epoch. All these are considered as part of the old epoch, and they have covered the Precambrian rocks or the transformation. So different examples of the Cambrian rocks. We will include some examples about kind of formations that exist in Jordan in the Cambrian epoch that represent the start of the old era. And we have the first type that belongs to Salab, as we can see in the picture in front of us. This does represent a Salab formation, the sandstone of Salab formation. Those sands consist of a quartz, and a very beautiful a quartz and unique one. And we have as well the Salab, and it does belong to the Tawa. The Tawa is different from its a limestone, and it belongs like, you know, to the sea. It's a type of like expansion to the sea, into the area. And this was like, you know, this exists like, you know, the Podge formation exists like as the early Cambrian, or like at the early like Cambrian ages. And then like, you know, we have a unique kind of formation that has represented the beautiful city of Petra, the archaeological city of Petra, and it's part of the Cambrian rocks and early, or like at the beginning of like, you know, the old epoch. This exists in Al Mujib area, and as you can see, like, you know, we have sandstones formation that belongs to the Ashrin formation. Ashrin represents like, you know, the early Cambrian period, and as well like, you know, it does represent Al Batra. Al Batra has been engraved like, you know, within the Ashrin formation and with the Adisa, and both of them are sandstones, but like they are different in colors. So Petra consists, it has been carved from the Cambrian and Ashrin as well, like, and the DC formation that belongs to the division. So we will continue to the events that has been like, you know, well known in the area, not only for rocks, but it was drawn on a lot of fossils, and the fossils that has existed in the, that was on it about like marine animals. Those marine animals, as we can see here, like, you know, in all graptolites was found with layers, with the limestone like, you know, layers, and some remainings of worms that exist in the Cambrian, and as well like, you know, some skulls. So fossils are not only like, you know, remains, and sometimes it might be some archaeological sites or like indicators of existence of those like, you know, livelihood animals. The DC belongs to the Ordovician era, and it's a formation, an important formation, and we can see it like obvious in the southern of Jordan and Tafila, and it has a dome shape, a white dome shape, and it does like, you know, belong to the Ordovician era. So we can see the Ordovician era, like, you know, the rivers were like, you know, well known there and were active there, and by the end of the Ordovician, like, you know, this has changed, and we have like, you know, we have like, you know, so with the Ordovicians, like, you know, we have moved to marine. So, and then we had like, you know, the Afrosians and the Ices like in Al-Hana, and you can still like, you know, see it like, you know, in the southern of Jordan that represent like, you know, the icy ages like, you know, that the area has experienced. And we talk about the Silurian, so most of the ice is like, you know, has melted like within the Silurian. So within the Silurian, we can see some deposits, or shale deposits, and then like, you know, when the sea has like, you know, went back, it has like, you know, formed kind of what they call like, you know, some formations. We don't have for the Devonian and the Carboniferous, and in addition to the area of it, so it does not exist for us like in the area. And the reason behind that, like, because the tectonic like movement that has been active on the surface, those tectonic movements have been playing like with the surface landscape, and it does change like on some of the details. So due to the lifting like, you know, activities, it has like, you know, changed that sub. So we have a gap for that for some of the formations and for the Devonian of our. So, and early of the Permian that does not exist like, you know, in the area because of some movements that has built like, you know, some of the mountains like, you know, in early like eras. So at the end of the Silurian, at then to the beginning of medium, so there was degradation in the sea, and most of those formations have been reflected like, you know, by the sea movements. So once like, you know, that there's a flood, we will have a different thing. So now when the sea will go back, so we will have like, you know, the branches of rivers, and the rivers will play like, you know, the most act, and it has sometimes like, you know, remaining of animals or fossils that will be left. So in this picture, you can see some the formation of a DC that belongs to the Ordovician epoch. We will continue now here and with the layers here from the Dead Sea, you can see it is obvious that it has the Cambrian, that's the oldest, and they belong to the so through the Cambrian 20 is covered by Erna formation that belongs to which era? It belongs to the Permian, and the Permian covers other rocks. Triassic is covered the Permian, and as you can see in the picture in front of us, it does start with some beautiful, colorful rocks. Those rocks will belong. It does belong to Ma'in formation, and it's well known and obvious in Ma'in, and we say in Jordan, we have to say sandstone, limestone, and evaporites deposits. This is the order for the layers that represent the accumulation. So at the beginning, there has been, and then at the end, when the sea has went back, we had these kind of formations, including the adjustment our waste that exists in Azarqa Valley, and it does exist for mining. We can see in the Paleozoic era, it has some minerals and some natural resources. So we're talking about the Triassic the gypsum of upper weight exists, so gypsum upper weight that represent the upper part of the Triassic, and we have dolomite, some formation of dolomite in a wavy shape. This is my Professor Klaus Bennett. He used to come and to visit those places and sometimes to attend, and he has been really a great person and teaching me geology of the geology of Jordan. Now we have entered now the Jurassic period, and then after the Jurassic we have the Jurassic and we have the Cretaceous. The Cretaceous during the Jurassic, there has been some engraved, and some fossils have been kept, and for some marines brachiopods fossils belong to the turtle we have so many types of some animals that have been served at this area. The shape and figure of us shows the geological formation in Jordan from north to south. We can see sometimes the depth is or the width or the depth is more, and sometimes it does belong actually to the activity of the sea and the formation that has been active during those epochs and the tectonic movements. We have experienced different tectonic movement in Jordan, especially the Syrian and the Dead Sea transform that has affect the formation. So all these value stress that has been forcing the area to change the landscape, and it has changed the formation. The Mesozoic impact, we have talked about the Cretaceous, that is well famous. It has covered most of Jordan because of the expansion of the sea, and then there are so many types of fossils that exist, Becconensis, Ichnos, and other types, and we can see some other values in Jordan at that area, especially the phosphate oil shale that has been formed at that era, Mocha Chokma formation that consists of oil shale and this era where the sea has been already has the area. We had Ashalali, the Oryx Sea, the sea, the Arabic plate has been divided from the African plate of the Sea, and this has already like had an impact on the fossils and like the formations. For those the archaeologists, like the activities of like all seas, like and that we have what we think of the conformation. That's an old one that has some fossil species that do represent like some continental like environments for like fresh water. But if we talk like the Lisan is an old lake, but it's the what we call it like it's the source or like the old grandmother for the Dead Sea, and so it's a salt type of water, and it's a lake like. So how did we like figure out all these things? Through like the layers analysis for like the fossils that exist in those like layers. It's very important to discuss those things, and because it does actually provide some anticipation and like climate forecasting like for the future. And then there has been, you can see like this figure for Jordan, like Harasham, and it has like it represents like some of the basalt like formations. Our time is so limited. It might not help us like to talk in details. So those who have an inquiry, I'm happy like to answer them. Like I'm not sure about like the time management, the timekeeping. Like maybe we can do it later. Thank you very much for everything. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I do have some slides, like maybe I have 36 slides, but I'll try to summarize it and to be a little bit quick in some like places, like I might give more details like where things are important or like it might bring your attention. As I have heard from my colleague, like we have some specialists and archaeologists from the audience, so we are close to each other. So in our historical like interest, that's why hopefully I won't make it long, but and I do present some interesting like facts for each and everyone. So the topics that I wanted to talk about as introduction, I'm talking about permanent pathology and element. As my colleague has mentioned, it's one of the epochs. It's geological epochs. We have a time scale that we appreciate, like that we have like try to estimate the life of the Earth. So we do try to call like each epoch, and our colleagues like in the history and archaeological like department. So we talk about permanent and pathology, and those words like if I wanted to translate it into Arabic, Botany is about like it's plant like fossils. It's not about like animals. Paleobotany as well, it's about like it's a division that does about like pollens that we sometimes we might be allergic to it, and sometimes we might suffer like in our respiratory system. For me, it's a kind of like so we have some some plants has no seeds, and they do use those pollens actually for their like continuity. So we talk about like earthquakes in Jordan and general geology. As like my colleague has mentioned, like I'm just specialized in paleobotany, but we might discuss like some other topics. So for the definitions, I'm going to skip now. But the geological timescale that my colleague has overviewed about like 460, like 4,600 years until the recent. It has to be close to the microphone. And until now, I'm working in the Dead Sea, like for the fossils, with the collaboration of a German team that consists of some colleagues and a professor of mine. So this covers like the whole Jordan. With the arrow, you can see the Dead Sea geologically, like on this map, or the formation that has been mentioned by my colleague. This formation, it's not a marine, it's a continental one. So, and the plants will grow on them. Where do the where will they will gather, and they will collect it, and they will accumulate it in a certain place. And if they, with the lack of oxygen, sometimes or absence of oxygen or certain conditions, it might become as a fossil. So a plant will become like a fossil, and we have seen so many types of fossils, and we can show some photos. For this photo, it's the same thing. We took Triassic, Lacan, Permian, Cambrian, and Permian, and this for the Dead Sea. Let's see. We're always talking about the tectonics and like movements, that the tectonics like layers moves. So the Jordan was not actually in the same place it is now. So I don't know now that now Jordan is like on a 30 to 35, like by coordinates, like like Jordan has not been in this place, like what kind of evidences we have. It does exist because we believe it might be like below the equator, between like, or sometimes between like 18 to 20, and I might use this for my voice, between like 18 or like 20 southern of the equator. And it we can read this through the types of plants that we can see. For example, the type of the plants that we can see in the Dead Sea is not suitable actually to live in the current like geographical location. So it does have to have like certain conditions. So we have a microscopic like analysis and tests that prove this. With our location here, these are the Americas, Africa, and this is the Arabian Peninsula. So we are here. We're in the first quarter. So this location, there has been some changes. We have so many accumulations of fossils from all over areas. So that goes back like to the Cretaceous and Gara. So my fossils is like sometimes similar to some fossils of China or South America, or with Europe sometimes. So this similarity actually, because like our location in the past, like has not been the same, so it has gathered some plants from other places. So this is the satellite image for the Dead Sea, the Highway 65 of the Dead Sea, and this is the Panorama Road. If you have visited like what we have, like what we call Wadi Al Himara, means like the donkey Wadi. It's Hamara, means like from red, so it's from color red, not from a donkey like a name. So that's why we call it like in Arabic like as Hamara, means like reddish Wadi. So Hamara is a donkey, and this is the donkey female is like Hamara in Arabic, and this is sometimes a mistranslation that took place in the earth. This table represents like 20 years of work. And each mission, like we can discover a type of a plant. I'm not gonna call all of their names, but I might show you some photos later. This is a type. We can see like now the mirror. We can see it in the Dead Sea. Like we have some cultures that we have cleaned with air pumps and with a brush, like and underneath the microscope with with a professional photo, it shows some like a trunks of parameters, and as you say, like it's a segment plan, means it's like the bamboo, it's similar to the bamboo, and it does exist here in this area. And in the same way, this is another type of plants. With those plants, like they still exist until now, and they might be like rare so far, like so, and we can see them like for indoor decorations, because these are some rare types, and sometimes usually we want purchase like unrare or like available or common like type. That's why we have some like types that are used for internal like decorations, and sometimes I cannot find like the whole plant as a fossils, because sometimes it might break. It's so delicate, and it might like accumulate like in a certain area. So sometimes I might have to purchase to find just a piece, and then we will do a reconstruction for the whole shape, and we will go back like to how it looked like. And we have another type of the pollinax that you can see in these pictures. It's for pollens, so you can find some of them, and this type, the fragments can be can be found, but this is a general idea. There are so many types of them, but these are types of plants that exist. And just to watch the time, Khasmia, as you can see, this is a 1 centimeter actually picture. So it's this one, it might be 30 or like to 40 centimeters. He has to be close to the microphone, please. So this is a type of the ferns that exist, and the most important type is this planet that exists until now. And we have the ginkgo. The ginkgo is famous in China, and it got sold to other places for internal decorations. So this is a literature and a construction for it. But what we have seen within the Dead Sea, these types, and there is another type of the leaves of banana. It's somehow wide and flat. It does exist. This type exists in Jordan. These are the types actually, and we might have to. I will show two types that were discovered in Jordan and then in Jordan, and they were called the genus Dicradium. But because they are different from the rest of the Dicradium, we had the right to call them another name. So these are new species discovered. That's why, the Dicradium, the postum, this sample in the Dead Sea, it's well obvious that it's type of fossils. I have forgot to mention something regardless of how the fossils, they might leave an imprint, a print, like a fingerprint. Means sometimes they might leave a draw as some remainings of that plant. If they will keep some remaining, so it will be covered. There will be the type of wax that covers some surfaces, some plant surfaces. So underneath the microscope, it will give us some details of the cells. So we will show you some pictures. So this is what we have called, and there are other types. We have called this Hogasi, and there are some declarative evidences from Omarna. We have Omarna mountain at the Dead Sea, so we have called this planet for that site. We had some samples. We have hundreds of of samples that are stored within like German universities and in Jordan, and it has been approved like by international like experts in international conferences. And in addition to this, the dicradium analysis has different types here. Like we can see, how did we figure out it's dicradium? We used to know that we have plants that are that use like the pollens, and within like a knife or a blade, you can open it and like if you're gonna like for example examine it, you will see some recent pollens with those contents. And at the end, we have to have a reconstruction for that original planet, and these are the pollens. This is a microscopic like picture for the cluster of the pollens. And here, the critical thing that I wanted to talk like now, the critical. Why did they didn't get melted like by hundreds of millions of years? The chemical structure, cellulase, that has been like immune like from changes, and it was so immune. So this type of plant has been taken out of the stones, and we have replaced it like in forks, in a water like pool, and in forks we have graded, and we have like kept it as a slide. Now we have been able to see some of the leaves, as you have seen, in two sides. And when it's exposed like to the sun and to the shade, like it represents like the difference here. And this is like the shady side. That's why you can see some seeds that represent, assimilate like what I call now the lands, that there's a gas exchange, and it's the same for the plants. And we will show like those samples. We were able to open those, the upper and the lower. And maybe it has some more details in other pictures. So you can see this picture that might be a little bit like different, but it gives me an indication of a new species. This is the first dicradium, and this is the pollen. There's a question. How can you like how can you like read pollens? This will be a submerged, it means, or think, because of the evaporation, and like they're away from evaporation, and sometimes like if water exists or rainy like an environment exists, we have an opportunity. Sometimes we have to trust it. So this was kind of evidences for the area, because like because we have been geographically like 18 to 20 like degrees in the southern like sphere, and we have, by God willing, if we have like a good time, we have some time of plants that are type of ferns, and some of their prints, or like even some remaining, like the black shape. We have to imagine that by a needle, if I'm gonna put it like in a pool, it should like float to the surface. And then if there is no black, like this one, means like this has only a print, and the print might give me an information, but less than like the black one. These are the pollens, and sometimes like with fossils, sometimes we might see some drawings like of plants, and then after like we have the CPAT with 25 like to 1 micro like filtering, we were able like to find those pollens. What did we benefit? We had a study to understand and like to do a matching to find out like which type of like plants produce those pollens, and then it does give us an estimation for the age. If we're gonna have a hypothesis, how did you like for my estimation, either by the fossils, and this what I can like show here exists like globally. So we might, and it has been done like we have done a comparison between like 35 like excavation sites like all over Jordan. We have seen similarity, and it was like similar to some sites, excavation sites like in Argentina, because we have been in the same plate at that area. So these are the correlation, and you can see like with the pictures we had with the statistics, this table that I have added as an annex, like it does confirm like our information. The application of palynology, it's not our topic now. This is the picture of the Dead Sea, and then I will move to the dinosaurs where people are waiting. It's not my specialty, but in order to indulge ourselves, like some geologists in Jordan, I think Anna, I did a study in Germany. We have some cardiologists like from Poland who came as tourists, and they were tracking like they were walking between like Schobach and Petra. So they have seen this, they have took a photo, and then they have talked about with some geologists that they have seen this picture in Jordan. A German scientist has digged it deep like in Jordan. So he was referred to me by a friend with like my colleague and we had a one-day mission, and we paid from our own like pockets, and we have been interested in this and on the field like yes, we did have some participation in the geology, but they are specialists in cardiology, but they were interested in this. So this site in Schobach, like close to Petra, geologically, they had the Na'ur formation that Dr. Ikhlas has mentioned. It was considered as Kabaklish, means like 170 million years ago. So it's nothing like for the history, like a change of money. So did we prove that this age exists? Yes, I'm quite confident that yes, we can prove it in so many ways and mechanisms. Like what happened was this site, as you have seen, our cardiologists, like colleagues, have seen. We have seen that for some people this might be a normal or common thing, like but for a specialist that they might have a different angle to look into this matter. They have we have observed, and I've learned a lot from them as well. And those like we have used seen wax. They have cleaned this like with a brush. They have filled it with wax. After it dried, like they had to take this as a like this. So they had a print. They have took it and they have examined it like in Germany, and they tried to correlate it like with something being discovered, and then they have discovered that these are footprints for some dinosaurs from different times of dinosaurs. That it was proven that in Jordan we had like 3 types. The first one like on the top, and the second one that has been an interest, because like I was always thinking, because I'm interested in plants, I thought every dinosaur should be a massive thing, a huge thing. No, some dinosaurs were the size of a chicken, and this is one of the examples. So you might see like a continuous like engraves, like or 3 holes like here. The specialist will determine more and will talk like deeper about this topic. And the photos I've helped them geologically, but I've really learned a lot from them, and their photos were so professional that it has provided with a full dimension for the depth, for the scales, for by. And the third type that we have this type, it shows the footprint, but there's something like outside the picture I would like to mention, that it has not been written in the research, but it was an advanced thing maybe that has been an interest. This is the airport, and this is the reconstruction. What I want to say here within the dinosaurs, we're talking about a flock, or maybe like a herd of like some a group of dinosaurs. I used to hear like scientists like analyzing this, especially like that they wanted to know, have they been escaping from something, or they were looking for like a food. That's why if I'm walking like so it depends like on the distance between each like print. If I'm running, like I will leave like wider prints, and this was an interesting thing to me, and I want actually to work with them in order to know more. Sometimes if they are like sitting or not, because like sometimes some type of dinosaurs might have like 2 legs and 2 hands, and sometimes the hands are shorter than legs, and they might not leave like footprints or like prints. So within 2 minutes, like I will talk about seismology. Now, our friends here, for this scale, for earthquakes, I will brief it in 2 words now. 4.5, like it can be felt by human beings, but like less than that will never be detected by human beings. So where we are in Jordan, we are at this place where he points. So we are a part of a plate, and this plate moves like north and counterclockwise as a one piece, and it does collide and form kind of a stress on this like plate, and that's why you have seen like the earthquake happening as a stress point. So this is Jordan, and we can see like the rift of the Dead Sea that has an impact on us. Sometimes we have what we call secondary like gaps, and so these are some time of main cracks, the other ones like sub cracks, or like it does like it does produce sometimes or cause like earthquakes on a daily basis, but if you don't feel it, it might, because it's below like 4.5. The last map, I'm not gonna scare you, but this is the map. This is a plotting for the earthquakes that took place in Jordan since 2000, since 1990, 2000, between for 15 years, between 1990 and 2005. So it consists all over the rift area from Aqaba all the way. Sometimes you can see like some small like circles that represent like 2.4 to 3, because even if it's happening now, we won't feel it. That's why the devastating ones should be more than 6 of this type. I will conclude my presentation. I hope like this was very beneficial. Thank you very much.